Hey everyone! I wanted to get back in touch with a lot of you because so many of you for a long time have been asking how my husband and I have met. And I kept saying to myself, Kristen, you need to give the whole story. Kristen, people want the story. Kristen, seems really weird. You met this guy and then all of a sudden you're engaged and now you're married. So I'm like, it's time to tell the story. And honestly, I thought that at this point I would have had time or made time or found time to sit down with Jared and be able to give you the story, both of us together. Sometimes he had time and I didn't. Sometimes I had time and he didn't. I'm done with work and he's still working, so I'm just gonna do it really fast. Just kidding. So once upon a time, I lived in an apartment in Duluth, and my roommate had been wanting to ride bikes for a really long time. I kept saying, yes, I would do it. Yes, I would do it to get my bike. Well, I kept putting it off, or I forgot, or something happened. All of a sudden, I was like, okay, I need to get this bike. She had an amazing road bike, and I had an amazing mountain bike. And if you know anything about mountain bikes, you know that they're made for the mountains, not the road. So we started riding bikes together. She would be ahead of me, really ahead of me. I would be in the back huffing and puffing, thinking to myself, I hate my life. I hate biking. So my roommate said, Kristen, you need to think about getting a road bike. And I said, I mean, yeah, but they're just really, really expensive. And I don't know. It only took one more time of riding to go, okay, it's time for a road bike. And thus began the adventure of finding a road bike. So I ended up on Facebook Marketplace and I saw this amazing bike. It was so beautiful, a little bit out of my price range, but I decided to reach out to the seller and say, hey, I love your bike. It's beautiful. Would you be able to go lower? This person wrote me back and said, yeah, maybe we can compromise on that. The seller then said, hey, I looked on your profile, as I do with anyone that I do business with, and I saw that you were a Christian and that you love Jesus. Is that the case? And I thought, that's interesting. Anyway, yes, I am. So the seller saw that I had gone to seminary. I saw that this person had been doing missions and was a missionary up in Clarkston. Also, it started to rain. Okay, so I'll finish the rest of my video inside my house. So me and the seller started talking back and forth about Jesus, about missions, about what led us to where we were right now. And my roommate, who was sitting next to me and I was explaining everything that was going on, said, is he single? I don't know. So I looked on his Facebook profile, as I do with anyone that is asking me so many questions. Yeah, I think he's single. And she was like, Kristen, he's interested. And I was like, no. He's not. He's just kind. We eventually made plans to meet up and so that I could test out the bike to see if I really wanted it, if I really liked it. So I saw him a few days later, and when I did see him, I thought, he's pretty cute, and he was super kind, but beyond that, I really didn't know if he was interested or not. He just might be really nice and super kind and just friendly. It wasn't until I got home and he said, maybe we can put a ride together sometime. Okay, so I totally inserted the winky face and stuff like that. That didn't happen. He was very cool, and I was very oblivious, clearly. But what really solidified things for me was at the very end of our chatting experience on Facebook Marketplace, he said, well, I'm gonna go ahead and mark this ad as sold, so we might lose all of the communication that we have. So here's my number in case we lose everything. My roommate was right. So the seller and I hope by this time you know that the seller's my husband, but in case it's not, this is the big reveal. The seller's my husband. We met on Facebook Marketplace. I went on our first date about 5 days later. It went amazing. And then we went on our next date 3 days after that. And we had been continuing to date on and on and on until eventually we got engaged in February. We got married in June, just about 7 weeks ago. And now we're living in Florida, living the life, loving being married to my best friend. No, I absolutely love our story and how evident it is that the Lord intended for us to meet together. Because just a little bit of backstory, he is not from Georgia, he is from Florida, and he was only up here for a short period of time doing missions while he was getting his ordination. He had to serve somewhere, and so he decided to serve in Georgia. So there's the whole story. That's how we met. That's how we got engaged. I didn't tell you how we got engaged. It's another story. I guess I can tell you how we got engaged like super duper quick.
Okay, so the very last thing that Jared was waiting for was for the ring to come in. I was utterly convinced that we were not getting engaged for multiple reasons, but this day in particular, I had this weird feeling because he was acting super duper strange. So what ended up happening is that we ended up going to this lake that we always go to. We always go to this lake, we always fish at this lake. We always going out on the boat at this lake. So we were at this lake today. I didn't notice anything. We ended up riding on the boat. We came off the boat. Jared said, "Hey, I have something I want to read to you. So come over here." Then I saw that there was this bench set up with flowers on it and a blanket. It was really cute. He sat me down. He read the end of Proverbs 31 to me. He wrote me a 3-page letter, which if you know me for like any amount of time, I'm a total words of affirmation girl. So like 3 pages of something I can keep forever and ever that is expressing your heart sentiment towards me. Oh my gosh. It's going over our bed. And then he proposed, which was the best day of my life.
So if you've been watching this whole time, thank you so much for putting up with all of my humor, as I would like to call it. I hope you learned more about Jared and I, how we fell in love, how we met, and how now we are just loving life in sunny Florida. I love you guys.